Hi friends, Bill McCabe here at the Iron Crane Dojo. We're going to talk about something today that came to mind when I had a distinguished guest visit with one of our smaller sessions on Tuesday night, and he demonstrated some flows and how they can be incorporated into practical energies like arm bars and arm locks and bent arm locks and so forth. Then after that session, I thought, especially since some of the folks questioned, like how do you deal with that kind of energy? How do you deal with those situations when you're in them so that you can extricate yourselves from them without getting your arm or your joint broken? And I says, well, okay, that'll be a nice little topic for a video, and we can just preserve some of my ideas on that and just have them for future reference. So that's what we're going to do today. But first I want you to have a look at three slightly different energies that relate to arm locks or joint locks that will set up like three different tableaus for response. So I'm going to borrow Terry for a second. You've all met Sensei Terry before. She comes over and assists whenever she can. First, the first particular type of energy is the arm bar. Or it takes on many shapes. Okay, the arm bar could be something like this. It could be more of an attack into a pressure point and locking it into the platform of your body. It could be used as a guided takedown, but it's essentially the same energy every way that you do it. Okay, and everybody has their own way of doing it. Now, I want to point out, by the way, that usually when I do joint locks, I do them to attack the joint, basically to cause the break or to dislocate the joint. And we're not going to do any of that today. We're being respectful of each other, and we're being very careful not to injure each other. So we're not doing these techniques pedal to the metal. The objective here is to learn without losing the use of your arm or your wrist or your joint, for the next 2 years. And you always have to be mindful of that. So the first energy, arm bar, and we're going to take a look at how to negate the threat of an arm bar in a second, but I want to show you the second type of energy, which is the outside bent wrist lock. Bent wrist lock outside. It has many different types of forms and shapes. It can be done at an angle. It can be done as a crossover move. It can be done as a joint lock over the top. It has many different appearances. And you come over here. What's interesting about these is that one can become the other as you get more skilled. Okay, because the energies cross over and flow into each other. But that's a topic for a different day. But here you have the outside bent wrist lock or the chicken wing block, and here you have the arm bar. Two different types of energy completely. A third, by the way, the bent wrist lock also has an inside kind of an attack. You can use it, she does it to me, driving my elbow up and inside from underneath. That's a variation, but many of the same defenses apply to either format. The final type of energy of the three that we're going to talk about today is the bent wrist lock on the center line. So I'm here, snapping straight down. And you can see I'm on her center line, using this to assist, just to stabilize it. But say she grabs my hand, I grab it 2 hands. I lock it, come over the top, down. And you can see how quick it can be, okay? And generally what you do is you snap the wrist and take the person down to the ground afterwards. Three types of energies. Okay, we're going to take a look at the first one now, which is the arm bar. So, I grab her, and she gets me into an arm bar. Okay, you can see the energy of the arm bar. Okay, way out, in, behind. She gets the energy, locks, in, behind. Steve comes over, grabs. Just put me in the arm bar, if you will. In, behind. Okay. You can see what I'm doing is I'm changing the flow. His vector is taking me down. And what I'm doing is I'm breaking that vector going around and inside, loading high on the center of his body. I've got targets here, the head, and what I can do is drive him straight down to the ground from the rear. There's the arm bar. I break angle on him, convert it. You can see the conversion there. There's the arm bar. 1, 2, break angle. There's a break angle, I dissolve the power. Again, there's the arm bar. Cranks it on, break angle. You can see how I unwind his arm bar by doing that. Okay, got a hit, vital target, inside, take down. There's the arm bar, cut move, cut move. There's the arm bar right here. See, once I remove it from the pressure point, he loses the effective driving power of the arm bar. As I do it to him, there's a little punch. Take him down, he does the cut move. See it? Now watch here, he's got me in a inside arm rollover lock. He's converted it. And this is basically an arm bar of a different type. Same deal, I can convert it back. It's over the top. You see, I can take this to detach it and convert it to the same thing going back. The point here is, a lot of joint locks are like deer in the headlight. You have a reaction like the deer does when it crosses a road at night and a car's headlights shine on it. It freezes in the road. A lot of people who experience joint locks go with them because they don't think that there's a way they can get out or that they can protect themselves. The point is that for virtually every technique there's a solution, and to every solution there's another technique, and to every other technique there's another solution, and you have this cycle of yin and yang that's forever moving about in the martial arts. And when you have more experience, you recognize more solutions and more counters than you do at the earliest stages of your development. So what I want to do is just make you aware that there are things that you can do here that are viable alternatives and viable solutions. Let me borrow Terry again. So Terry gets me in the arm bar. Here, I'm going to drive through Terry. Bring the camera over. And what I'm going to do is, her energy is here, and she's locking me here. I break her energy. See it? And what I do is I counter this arm, push hard now. You see, there's very little that's going through to my arm. And I steal her balance by driving in, and then I angle my arm over, and then I fire. Okay. So she goes down, and I do it quicker. It's in. It becomes powerful, much more pronounced. I can also, she does the arm bar, go outside and over the top. What I do here is I'm ahead of her energy, completely ahead of it, destroying her balance. And you see how quick and simple that moves. Okay. Again, she goes down, watch my leg, back, watch my hand. I relax it, put some pressure on, see, it doesn't matter. As she drives this here, I'm going out and around, taking her back. See how that flows. Okay. So there's a few ideas there about how energy works and how you can manage it. There's many more ways you can do it, but we have limitations today. We want to cover 3 types of energy, and I want to give you a few breadcrumbs that you could follow for your own research with your own teachers. The second move is the bend wrist lock. The outside bend wrist lock. She's here. Okay. Now put some pressure on her. See, it looks like I'm really stuck, but watch. She puts it on, up. So I'm rolling with the energy. She puts it on, watch. Puts it on. This would be high pat on horse's head. That would be internal arch. High pat on horse's head. working hard. So I do the same move to her. She comes back high, paddle horse's head. Okay. She fires here. I capture and add to her own energy. She puts me in the move, I capture and again. This goes over. Do it as hard as you can. Outside and around. Up here, I can fire. Here, I can fire. She puts it on as hard as she can and go down. Now watch. As hard as you can, I'm going down with it. And she loses the energy of the move. See it? I go down with it. Now watch. Okay? I go down with it. Watch. So you can see the power that I can load onto a body by breaking her balance, getting under her center, and lifting, all the while negating the pressure of her wrist lock that she's been applying to me. Here, she goes underneath, split. She does it to me, I do it to her. So I do it to you, you do it to me. You can see how nice that is. See it? Down, 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 down. It's a good way to practice it too. Down, in. She grabs, watch. Under, strike, arm break. Under, strike, arm break. Under, strike. See it? See it? Nice. Go over your side. How much time are we into this, Francisco?
12 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to show you a variation on this. Actually, I want to show you one with the arm bar that will work pretty well with Steve and myself because of our size differential. See, I put them into an arm bar. Now, when I put people into arm bars, I should go over here a little bit. They're in pretty good. So I have a good sense for it. Okay? I see how relaxed I am when I put people into a lock. I don't force it like other folks do because I'm very relaxed when I do it. As I'm taking him down, he comes into my legs and rolls me down to the ground. He drops to the ground, traps me inside, and then turns over, brings me down, and I have to counter. So the arm moves like that. Good, thanks. The arm moves like that. Bring the camera closer. The arm moves like that even for situations where it appears that you're too late to do any of the other things that we talked about and you're being taken down to the ground or driven to the ground. You can still break angle, and almost always the best way to break angle is to roll like a log and using one of your limbs to assist in the roll. Now what he did was he used his left leg in my inner left thigh to help off balance me, which brought me to the ground as he rolled, and I was doing the arm bar on him, and because I was holding him, my hold brought me over to the ground into a loss of balance situation, at which point he had opportunity to effect a response. Now, with respect to the bent wrist lock, I want to show you one. This goes back to the 70s, and it's not a technique that I particularly like a lot, but it's reflective of how things have changed over time and how awarenesses of energy have changed over time. This was in a book by Bruce Lee, and he was working with, I believe, Sensei Hayward Nishioka, who was an outstanding judo proponent back then. And the wrist lock was inserted. And then what Bruce Lee did was he circled the bout of it, and then converted it inside of it to something different. But what's interesting about it is if it's a shorter guy against a taller person, it's still a technique that has potential. For me, it has no potential because I would get tied up if I did it on Steve. But for example, I'm going outside here he feels the energy and he goes with it. He goes, I'm going to watch. This time he steps behind me, but his counter is inside, sweeping me, driving me down to the ground. Now watch once again. Here, and he's sort of learning this as we're talking through it, okay? I just want you to have a sense that you can be creative with these. So I do the lock, he goes around, captures, and off balances me, driving me to the ground. I can do a more punishing lock. He grabs my hand, and I do a wrist, arm lock, driving into his center, which is really of catastrophic potential to his shoulder, his elbow, and his wrist. He can do the same evacuation on this. Go around, inside, and convert it. You see how he converted it to another wrist lock. Okay? So here, he goes around, down, captures, he does a roll on that, and one more time do the wrist lock conversion that you just did. Convert you to a wrist lock, high side. And of course, there's always options that you have. I can convert that, it goes high, I can roll it, go outside, take them down. Now, that's the second type of energy, the bent wrist energy. The third type of energy is the lock is on your center line. So, grab me here, roll it over. That's where he's at. Easiest move is, we call this flashing hands. Inside, there's a pressure point. Then the camera right here. See the pressure point? And when I do this, I step to a center and drive that pressure point and my energy into him so that he goes to the ground. He goes basically flying off. Does the same move. If I want to be smart and clever here, I can convert this to the other wrist lock. Yes, sir. See how I did that? Gets me the same move, locks me, I lock his hand. This would be a needle at C bottom. It could also be white crane spreads wings if you do the internal arcs. Okay, it could be the down drop conversion if you do Hapkido. I lock, down. Yes, sir. See the snap there, okay? Lock, down. Okay, he's in here. Lock, down. Shoot up the middle, you see the knee options. Inside, I break my arm. See? As soon as I fold his wrist, the energy is out of his lock. Break my arm. See it? I'm timing it, so he's getting it now, see? Now he's getting me, I can change it. See the thumb? So all these little things you do simultaneously, and you just have to be wide awake as you're moving. Now, I say to people that what I'm executing is the water principle. I'm moving like water. I'm not overthinking this. I'm not the deer staring at the headlights. I'm very relaxed. And when water hits an obstacle, it sinks into the ground, it floats to the air, it goes to the right, to the left, it evaporates, it recoalesces. Obstacles don't stop it. But the thing you have to understand about water is that to accomplish all this, it's not thinking. If water could think, it would get stuck every time. And what I'm saying to you is you have to develop these flows of energy within yourself so that you understand these flows and that you're not locked into these mathematical moves that you have to commit to memory all the time and do like the ABCs. I never do that. When somebody grabs me, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I feel their energy, and whatever energy I feel, I manage it. Okay, so he's up here again. Do the same. Comes in. See, I go in. Comes in. Same move. I go in. Yes, sir. All kinds of ways you can take a guy down. You just have to be creative and trust yourself. Comes in. Look. Three Stooges. Right? The hit. Down. Convert. Up. Grabs. In. And I want to show you another conversion here, but I can't think of what I was going to show you. So we'll just stop with that. Where are we at as far as time?
20 minutes is it?
Okay, 20 minutes. I think that's enough for you to have something to contemplate and to research further on your own. In time, we'll add more to this topic, but let's just keep it to bite-sized chunks for the moment. Okay, have a good day. Do well, stay well. See you down the road.